Katie, yeah, it was incredible. She just found the most waves, the best waves, little insiders, and
Welcome back to the Insiders Podcast. Matt here again with another quick intro as we have another special guest, and this one is a banger. You will thank us later for this. We have Avalon Starick, who is the lead head shaper for XOCOCO surfboards. She has a deep history that you're going to hear about working in factories and with other major brands, one being Album. And I have been kind of hounding her to try and get on for a chat, but she is very, very busy shaping a lot of surfboards because she's very good at that. But now we have got her on the poddy, and this is a wonderful conversation. We talk about her background in shaping, about the influence of XO Coco, everything really to do with surfing, what she surfs, and more. Please, please, please tune in, share this one, and enjoy. This is myself and Darren chatting to Avalon Starick from XO Coco Surfboards. Enjoy. It really is like super casual poddy about just general chat. Like that's how it started. That's how it's always going to be. We could dive straight in. Like we've had Matt Parker on a couple of times,
Mhm.
and one of the ones he done was one of our really early ones, and it was kind of like 12 o'clock midnight my time, and I listened to the podcast back, and I sound like I'm out in space, kind of thing. So don't worry about don't worry about that.
Thanks.
But yeah, we could dive straight on. So thank you for joining us, Avalon. I've been begging to get you on to Mike quite a while. Um,
Yeah,
um, but it's really, really cool to have you on. So thank you so much.
no, thank you for inviting me, I guess. And yeah, hitting me up. I'm always keen for a chat and love what you do as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely appreciate that.
So whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I am in the Album Surfboard showroom in Currumbin on the Gold Coast.
Okay, yeah.
Um, yeah, so in Australia.
And that's where all of the magic happens for XO Coco and for that's where the kind of I call it a showroom is.
Yeah, we're calling it a showroom. It's not a shop as such. We obviously sell boards out of it and have our office in here, but it's yeah, just a pretty nice space to display boards and for people to come in and see them in person, I guess, and have a chat.
Yeah, and so this is Darren, as mentioned. Darren is an Australian, and um, tell me, Des, you were earlier this year. You were in that showroom, right?
Potentially. Is that glass at Maroochydore?
Oh no, I'm in Currumbin.
Okay, yeah, down the Goldie.
Yes, yeah.
But I think I did see some of the boards and glass at
Yes,
Maroochydore, correct?
they are up there as well. Yeah, beautiful cafe. Mitch is our production manager here in Australia, and he also owns Glass Whole Foods
Okay.
Cafe. It's yeah, incredible. So he's got some boards in there too.
Whereabouts in Currumbin are you?
We're in Currumbin Waters in the industrial estate, in a little cul-de-sac with Home Cafe.
Okay.
Um, there's a barber shop here too, just down from Dust Temple, if you
Okay.
know.
How far from the beach is that then?
Uh, 5 minute drive or e-bike.
Okay, so
Just
not too
straight
far
down
if
to
you
the
need to
valley.
whip out for a surf.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you surf?
What type
Like
of
what
craft?
boards?
What was a real mix. I've never really surfed high performance shorties or I'll jump on a thruster. But I've been loving pretty much exclusively Exo Coco boards now.
Yeah.
So a 6'4" Halcyon, which is the mid-length twin fin round tail with a little flyer. That's been a bit of a go-to. I've got a 5'4" Trist, the more traditional fish. I've got a longboard, a 9'2" log that I shaped. Um, that was quite a few years ago now, but I love jumping on that too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, a real range.
sounds good. It sounds. I've just a couple of times, fortunately, had the chance to have a few of the boards go through my hands as well and stuff. And I've worked with Album for years now as well. And the there's the I forget what the model is, but it's kind of the mid-length single fin with the that you do.
The
Um,
paddle bottoms, the silhouette.
that's it, the silhouette. That
Yeah.
like literally like a few months ago, I put an order in with Album, and I very nearly bought that, and then I kind of talked myself out of having a single fin because I would do it no justice. But that model looks real cool.
It is beautiful. Really like just slows your surfing down and well for me it did. I've been on such a twin fin roll, but I jumped on the silhouette. I was in the States a couple weeks ago and jumped on one there and yeah, it just felt really nice to slow down and feel the board and feel the wave and I feel like it really forces you to do that, forced me to do that. Mm.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you do you find because Queensland, even Gold Coast, and so, obviously it gets hollow, but it is also small a lot. Like, I lived there for a bunch of years until I grew up and became an
Mhm.
adult. I'm only kidding about that. But I did actually leave. I did actually leave when I was around 25. So at the time I was looking to move away from there.
Mhm.
Not move away, but travel to, more serious, better waves instead of just having to wait for the cyclones. So do you find that because it's such an incredible sort of mid-length to longboard area, are you shaving and selling more of the 6.6 up, or is it still really fishy orientated as well?
Definitely both. Definitely very fishy orientated. A lot of long like yeah, longer mid lengths. Still a lot of like the high performance twin and our shortboard as well. A lot, yeah, I guess there are a lot of people that surf D-bar and head down the coast to surf more punchy beach breaks as well. So it's definitely quite still really varied in in the boards that we sell. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's surprisingly a mix considering, yeah, like you said, it's not always pumping.
Yeah, but
And
I
with
always notice when I go back there that you've got, like, I'm just over 50, but
Mhm.
I see so many older guys and girls like steadfastly on shortboards, and they're still surfing well as well. They're not like cooking it because,
Totally.
yeah, because it's such kind of easy conditions to get in and get out, and you don't have like thick wetsuits and everything. It seems to kind of handle both sort of things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Whereabouts are you now, Darren? Um,
I'm in Hossegor.
Okay, okay,
It's
cool.
so Southwest France.
Yeah, yeah. You grew up here.
yeah, he grew up there, and then he chased love across the world, and now he's a madman who surfs Lenore, which is like the big wave at France. It's just so I'd want nothing to do with it, and
Wow.
he
Yeah.
surfs the small stuff as well. Talking about the mix that you say about the mixing the board shapes and stuff,
Mhm.
how have you seen this is a weird question to ask, but have you seen guys ordering the XOCOCO boards? Because obviously the foundation of that was the electric acid test that Matt Parker done where he had a cocoa on and he shaped it, realized that like the boards need to be shaped slightly differently, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, they're not shaped essentially for a female, they're just shaped for a different body shape, right?
Yeah, they are. It's sometimes a tricky thing for like to convey and to explain to people. They're definitely not boards exclusively for girls. Like you said, yeah, they're just designed from a different perspective and yeah, for a different body type. But then in saying that, anyone can surf them if they, get a custom and we can proportion it to them, their size and what waves they're surfing. But yeah, ultimately just designed from a different perspective. And we have had guys buy them. Also, like uh, my partner's got one. My boyfriend, or like Harry Bryant, Coco's partner, surfs a bunch of them, and all in kind of in her sizes too, and he loves them. Um, a few of the other girls that we've been getting boards to, Juniper Harper is a young girl in Lennox, and her boyfriend surfs all her boards, so yeah, and loves them. So they're definitely, sorry.
No, you can continue. I'm
Carry on,
wondering.
carry on, carry on.
Oh,
I'm,
true. They're definitely
I
very
know
versatile.
you wouldn't think that that's so outrageous because I guess people think that at first. Oh, it's a girls' brand. It's for only for girls, but that's just inherent misogyny, wouldn't it be? Because no one would think the same thing about a guy's brand for girls riding a guy's brand's board.
Exactly. And that's what it always has been, like it always has been, it's never been like named up like that. Oh, these boards are for guys or they're all guys' boards. So we don't really feel the need to do the same.
Yeah, no, that's kind of um, like
Exactly.
these days, the new generation. If you were gay, you wouldn't be so. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Forced or thinking about coming out because, for example, we would say you don't come out to your parents if you're heterosexual or to your friends. You are what you are, and same with the surfboards because really they're kind of surfboards most probably are non-binary anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So you're basically, what do we say? You're sort of what we would call in the shaping world the back shaper for Coco XO. It's XO in Australia. But before that, how did you get into shaping originally?
I I it started because I'd got a job in the album showroom when it was back down in Tweed. There was a little coffee shop, just a little hole in the wall coffee shop down there, and I got a job just making coffees. But I saw all the boards coming through, and down that street is there's a lot of surfboard factories, so all the board builders were coming in, getting their coffees and chatting, and I I guess quickly became pretty intrigued by the process. And I would walk down the end of the road to the shaping bays. There was Gavin Upson in there. The album boards were being shaped in there. Gary McNeil and Luke Short from LSD Surfboards. They kind of all had bays in a little zone, and I would just kind of hop between um, all those bays, pestering them, asking them questions, getting them to show me things about shaping. And eventually, Gavin Upson kind of said, "Okay, I'll give you a 2 week trial, and you can um, see what it's like to shape a couple boards." I guess he has his own brand, but he also ghost shapes for a lot of different brands. He was ghost shaping some albums at the time, and so I jumped in and kind of did about 2.5 years with him. Um, yeah, where he taught me. Um, the
Is that a factory where it's got all various shapers that like lease shaping bays?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I worked
Yeah.
for a similar place in here in Hossegor for 14 years. I managed a surfboard factory. So I kind
Really?
of, yeah, so I
Okay.
kind of understand where you're coming from. But
Sure.
like when you were younger, were you manual with your hands? Were you into that things like that?
Yeah, I always been pretty crafty. I love to sew and yeah, do art, but never anything like nothing with power tools or um like no construction or anything like that, but always very crafty. Mm, yeah.
Have you tried to shape a board, Daz?
No, I haven't
I would,
because
I would butcher it.
well, I had three or four of the best shapers I knew that existed all there working with me, and I never even until I was forced to build a fence along the side of my house until the neighbors cut down this hedge. So I'm not really a handyman. But I
Ah,
do understand, and I've seen, like, for example, we used to have work experience kids come in every single year, and I never got the request for a girl until one year we got a girl, and she was not like a high school work experience because they have to do it in grade. I think it's grade 9 here. They have to do 1 week. But this girl come in and she wanted to really get into shaping, and I'll try and see if I can while we're talking, Matt takes over, find her on Instagram. But she came one time for 3 weeks and she was dead set on it. And one of my friends, he's not a misogynist or anything, but at one stage she told him that she had a bit of asthma and that she didn't want to clean the shaping machine
oh,
room. And for him, it was just like, he was just like, it's impossible and anything. But she's gone on since then and created her own brand. And I don't
yeah.
100% know how successful they are commercially, but she does have a lot of followers and she is making beautiful boards. So,
No
like, she
way.
just
I would,
persisted and pushed into it.
yeah. The whole industry's like that, there's no um there's nothing you can study to get into board building, or it's not a easy industry to get into for anyone. Yeah, let alone I guess a girl when there's no other of us in there. But that's really cool. I'd
Yeah.
love to know her name.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
I'll find it and forward it through to you. But even for young kids these days, with the globalization of the big branding, you think,
mm,
hey, it's nearly dead set impossible to come up with your little brand unless you got some sort of financing from your parents
yes.
or not even for like a well-known pro server. I mean, Coco, yeah, but that's later in her career.
Mm.
She's got 800,000 followers. Honestly, she could come up with her own sunglass brand, and it'd still probably get a little bit of traction.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
With one question I wanted to ask you is have you had an order like come in from someone that has like scared you where it's like like a really big name that you're kind of like, oh God, like don't get this wrong.
It was kind of like that with the board for Rasta. I
Oh
I
yeah.
took part in the electric acid surfboard test last year. Oh, 2023.
Oh this yeah, last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. It's been a bit of a whirlwind of a few years, but that was probably the between that one and I do get nervous or like overwhelmed to shape some or boards for Coco. I feel extra pressure, but I've spent a bit more time with her and just she's incredible. So kind. I like she's able to give me feedback, but I know that she wouldn't write off my boards. Whereas the board for Rastra, didn't know him and doing the whole electric acid test, it can be kind of controversial and a bit brutal. So that was probably the most intimidating board to shape.
Yeah, that I thought that was quite cool. That I thought the whole thing was good actually, but your board actually gets quite a lot more attention than maybe others, all because of his back foot as well.
Mm.
They've done a whole thing on it. And the board looked really good as well under his feet. But then again, not taking anything away from your board, but he could surf like anything.
So true. Yeah, it was kind of the best outcome without it getting through the
Yeah.
way he spoke about it and yeah, it was pretty incredible. Bit surreal for me.
Yeah, it
I'll
was.
send that through. I'll send that through to you via the Instagram thing. It's Surfista that she's called. Surfista Surfboards.
Oh, I feel like I have heard of it, but
Yeah,
I
she's got
would.
like 15. She's got like 15,000 followers. And I think she does a lot of the glassing herself as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother skill in itself.
Well,
There's, there's,
I was going to say that. Do you know? Have you heard of Axel Lorenz? Who he's been in a few Stab in the Darks. Like he's a or he was in the high performance version of that. He used to shape for Pukas, but he's now just broken off and he's doing his own thing. And I was chatting to him last week about it, and his daughter is doing his glassing.
No way.
Yeah, which is like I think that's really cool. Like Axel's shaping them all, and then his daughter's glassing and sanding them.
That's incredible. I love hearing this. So they're actually yeah, in there are a few girls that are like really digging into it and I'm hearing more and more and it's super exciting. That's
Yeah,
really cool. I'm
for
so
me,
proud of you.
again, it's not like a guy or girl thing, but for me, I am surprised by it because surfboards as well. They're so like they need a finesse to them, and they're so refined. A lot of them, especially, and and I find that like so like my part, like Emily, my wife, she's way more detail orientated than me. She's way more like finessed in everything she does. So if we were to both like shape a board and glass it, I could almost guarantee hers would have a lot more like kind of yeah, finesse to it. So it does surprise me sometimes in an industry where it kind of is a bit like it feels a bit like construction-y and stuff, but it's not. It's so like delicate.
It's really yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And also the color matching. You would I mean that's also misogyny, inherent misogyny, thinking that girls have just got better color uh, schemes in a reverse way. But
But
I
they
actually,
do.
yeah, they do. That's just a simple, which must be hard for you guys as well, girls. I'm saying because in the art world, it's the same thing. For centuries, it was dominated by the men, even though you would see the female artists like just as good. Do you find that when girls come in, like, so do you work in the shop taking custom orders as well?
Yeah, I do. I'm doing a bit of everything over here at the moment, from yeah, customer service to shaping, yeah, glassing, production management, like designing files. Yeah, a bit of everything.
Do you see that with the girls, because I would assume that they would have so much less apprehension coming in and ordering a board with you.
Yeah, it's has been. I have had a lot of comments about, or from the girls that I'm chatting with about boards and ordering boards, and yeah, the comments they've made have been along the lines of it's like really nice to chat with another girl about this instead of another guy, which is yeah, nothing. It's yeah, definitely not a bad thing, but it is like the truth. They've never talked about their boards and like the dims of their boards and the way they want to surf and what they're working on and the struggles they have. They've never like had another girl to relate that to, I guess.
It
Hmm.
would just be a lot less intimidating, I think. I know even for a little kid that would come in to see, like if it was a boy to come in and see an old crusty shaper, it is an intimidating process. I've seen it.
For sure, yeah. Well, I'd like to hope I'm yeah, not intimidating.
Oh, you're very scary in your jumper with like a little bunny rabbit with hearts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that I also hope as well that potentially like that then leads on to inspiring them to potentially see in the industry that there's a path for females to do what you're doing or other areas as well.
Mhm.
Um, within any kind of part of the industry, I guess, but especially that shaping side of things. I wanted to ask how much kind of knowledge do you try and pull out of Matt? Because obviously you are close with the guys at Album and stuff. That guy's a borderline genius. Well, no, not borderline. He's a certified genius. Um,
Certified.
yeah. How much do you like lean on him for knowledge and try and soak up what he's got?
Yeah, so much. He makes it out here to Oz a couple times a year usually. And yeah, I've just been over and spending a bit of time for him. And it's kind of a fine line of he's so incredibly busy with everything that he's got going on. It's like I um try not to pester him too much. Um, but also really, yeah, definitely make the most of the time when I do get to be in the bay with him and um or yeah, when I was over there and got to spend some time surfing and in the bay and in the office, like I definitely am soaking all of that up. And even just like yeah, watching him shape, watching him work, watching him chat um with other surfers and other customers and things, like yeah, I'm very grateful for um everything he has to say.
Yeah. And how mental is it that what is he? He's got like five kids and he runs like a little league team and stuff like that. Just
He's
bonkers.
in, yeah, he's incredible, incredible human all around.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did, what sort of was there any big difference you saw between the Californian surf scene? I know it's a big question, but
It's
keeping it simple, and the Gold Coast surf scene.
the Gold Coast surf scene feels feels more competitive to me, and maybe that's just
Yeah,
because where I surfed in California or everywhere I surfed was pretty relaxed and mellow. Everyone was on, most crew were on alternative craft or, yeah, not like, didn't have cameras on the beach filming every session. Like I feel the Gold Coast can be a bit like that. Yeah, that was probably the biggest difference that I kind of noticed.
yeah. That the Gold Coast is quite similar to Hossegor actually. Like Hossegor kind of used to be. Well, no, it didn't used to be anything. It was always the capital of European commercial surfing with all the brands, and now it's the same with because it's so consistent. All the good kids will come up here, so there's never a session where there's not three or four photographers on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always hear about California being a lot more easygoing, even though if you read like magazines, you might think differently. But did you surf some of those waves that Corey Coral Pinto and stuff surf?
I'm not actually sure where they surf. I always watch those videos and kind
They're
of
unreal, aren't they?
yeah, love the wave, love the look of the waves. We surfed just around San Clemente.
Okay.
And like maybe lower trestles could be pretty competitive, I'd imagine, but I didn't surf there and I didn't spend a bunch of time there, kind of steered clear. So maybe that's where the
Okay.
pretty incredible waves. So yeah, that's where the action might be. But yeah, either side of lower trestles.
What boards did you surf when you were in California then, compared to what you would surf on the Gold Coast?
I actually I didn't travel with boards, which was pretty
Hmm.
nice, but I did surf. I still surf to 6'4" Halcyon, um, the same board, and that worked great over there, and it works great here. So that's definitely a very versatile one. But over there, I definitely did notice the kind of um, well, I guess here the waves feel a bit more punchy, more powerful. They definitely were, um, yeah, more cruisy, soft. Even if there was some size, it was still kind of a soft wave, and I guess that's what it's kind of known for over there. Well, the spots I was surfing at least.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's good to know that your board goes in both as well, for
it,
sure.
it it was great. Yeah, it's been like such a favorite board of mine here, and so I was really intrigued to see how it go over there.
I
And
guess that's why they became so famous for longboarding and fishes and everything as well, because everyone says the same sort of thing. Unless I
Yeah.
guess you go up to San Francisco and stuff like that, it's a bit different.
Yeah, yeah. But no, so well suited. The waves over there are so well suited to longboards, fishes, mid lengths. Um, yeah, definitely recognize that. It was cool to check it out in person too. Always heard it, but it was my first time being over there, so it was cool.
oh, nice. I've never
Yeah.
been. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask,
check out
so have
live.
you got any new models in like that you've been because like obviously Album are constantly tweaking, bring out new models, changing models, things like that. Have you got anything in the plans that is going to be new?
Yeah, we do. I think anything with Matt Parker, he's constantly um forward thinking and throwing things together. And yeah, between the both of us, we do have some new models, some tweaks, and different things that we'd like to experiment with. I guess it's kind of never ending, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah, no, we do have a few things we've been experimenting with, which is exciting.
I'm a little bit known for being a bit of a how do I say how do I say this without getting in trouble?
Geek.
Not geek, but whore, maybe is I'm a bit of an I've turned into a bit of an ASIM whore, and I wondered
Oh.
Matt's Matt's kind of influence. Have you dabbled in the wonky shapes?
I not as I have so much interest for it, and even today here I said how much I want to jump on a I haven't jumped on a bomb Gia yet, and I would love to do that, but I haven't dabbled too much in it like shaping and designing wise yet, but it's definitely something that he's like yeah pushing me on and challenging me with
Yeah.
which is yeah.
I think
Get a slightly oversized Bomgia. The best, like I've got one. I'd say best board ever. I would say that about like six boards that I've got. One of my favorite boards to surf. I
Oh,
like you'd love it,
I
definitely.
I think I might have to scout a used one out to jump on this weekend.
That's what I done. I took Matt's own one. I was like, I want this like, and he was like, oh, I've got my one, and I was like, can I buy it?
Perfect.
You'll love it.
hey, a two-part question for you then, Avalon. Um, did you see the new, which is I guess a stupid question, did you see the new girls movie on Stub? What's it called, Matt?
Milk
Mr.
and
Geek?
Milk
honey.
and honey.
Milk and Honey. And did you have boards in this video?
So this was I don't have any boards in it because it was filmed nearly at least a year ago, if not longer. Um, but it was funny. I spent all of 2023 overseas surf guiding with my partner, and we were actually in the Philippines with all the girls. They were staying at the resort we were based at, and we were actually, um, I guess, showing them around and, um, yeah, hanging with them while they were filming all of that, which was
Wow.
pretty cool. So that was almost like my first glimpse at the XOCOCO boards. Coco had a few that Matt had shaped some of the first. I think that they were in the Philippines before it was even like before it was a website and before it was a brand. So um yeah, that's kind of all happened in the past few years. Um, that was
So
really cool.
what was it like? I guess you got to see Katie surf. I'm not taking anything away from the other girls, but I guess you got to see Katie surf up front before and as she was becoming a phenom.
Yeah, she was crazy. She definitely like yeah, definitely not taking anything away from the other girls. They're like they all rip so hard. It was incredible to watch in person and to like hear their thoughts about things and yeah, seeing that um in person. But Katie, yeah, it was incredible. She just found the most waves, the best waves, little insiders, and what she performed on them was, yeah, truly incredible. It was pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, experience exactly to see her as she's been up and coming. Mm.
It's pretty. It was. I mean, I think the film was really really cool. I think it was filmed really well. It was sick to see, and I think it's great to see the different style of surfing just between those four people as well. Um, who would you say would be someone you would love to see an order form come in from?
Oh, I
Male,
there
male or
it's hard.
female?
Oh no, it's really hard to pick someone, or like even a couple of people because they're such uniquely designed boards. Like I would love to see anyone and everyone jump on them. That's a pretty silly answer, but oh, it would be incredible to shape one for Steph. That's I can't not
Yeah,
say that. She has surfed a couple of Cocos, but to make her one would be pretty epic. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people that I'd love to see just on the boards and experiencing them because they are unique.
I thought you was
For
going to
sure.
say Darren Broadbridge. That would have been the correct answer.
That would have, that should have been the answer. Damn, I missed
I think
opportunity there.
after you see me surf, you'll think different. Do you ever would you ever see Steph at the alley?
Not at the alley. Seen her out at Greenmount a
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she ventures up this way as much.
Who's the best girl surfer at the alley? Or
Hmm.
is there a best?
No, there's the
There's got
alley. I mean, I wonder if it was like this when you were around, but um, very versatile in kind of abilities and surfcraft out there. There's um every everything and everyone really. Um,
I took my nephew and niece there maybe a couple of times, like 10, 12 years ago, and then maybe 8 years ago as well. I know it well, and I saw it at the time I was spewing, I didn't have mid length
yeah.
because, it was like 2, 3 foot, and,
Mhm.
sometimes wide, and obviously a long paddle back out.
Yeah, yeah. It is. A bit of foam out there is very nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kind of like that
Um,
anywhere really. There's more places that more foam's the best, and then there's a select few places like the Gravier or Snapper and stuff where maybe it's not the case. But yeah, foam's definitely your friend. Um,
absolutely.
so
Here's a semi-relevant one. Sorry, Matt.
there you
On
go.
Like we've heard a lot over the last few years on how there's no more money in surfing, blah blah blah. It's one of the big white elephants in the room, which is false because there's so many more companies in surfing. There's so many more people working in surfing. It's just that the cake's kind of been spread around as opposed to Billabong, Rip Curl, Quicksilver, and their little riders. And
Mhm.
what I was thinking yesterday was one because I heard Katie Simmons in an interview on a Stab podcast, and I think she's maybe not. I'm not saying the most popular, but it looks like she's maybe the most interesting surfer of her generation, male or female. Like I couldn't pick a guy her age who would generate as much attention. So obviously, like for example, her salary in O'Neill, that's not going to 5 kids. So you see the same sort of thing on the Gold Coast, for sure, no?
Um, I'm honestly um not that kind of tuned into I guess that side of surfing as much as I should be.
That's a good thing. You shouldn't
I
care
mean,
about it.
it can be so easy to get roped into and to get kind of caught up in, but um yeah, I would imagine it's the case. There's definitely some pretty incredible up and coming um surfers that yeah would are getting a lot more attention these days. Yeah. But
Well, if you,
it is a hard thing to say, no money in surfing. Maybe not as much money in high performance
yeah,
surf.
exactly.
But we're as busy as ever album and we've had so much great momentum with XOCOCO, so it's yeah, you're right, it's a hard thing to say.
Yeah, it's just I think pretty spot on when you just say the cake's been spread wider. And maybe it's a little bit less more obvious and people aren't jumping out of helicopters and stuff, but there's still plenty of dough.
Well, there's
Which,
plenty of people
I
surfing,
hope
put it
so.
that way. I'm telling you.
yeah,
The
Yeah.
last 3 days here, you couldn't, nearly sometimes you couldn't see the lineup.
yeah, ants in the lineup. Yeah. Well, that's like pretty much our time run out because we don't pay for Zoom yet. But thanks so much for jumping on. It's been an epic chat, and we really do appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Um,
everyone.
yeah,
No, thank you.
hope you score some waves, and yeah, if you're in France or in England, come see us.
I
If you
definitely
can
will. And
send Matt,
likewise.
if you can send Matt some pictures, we'll post them when we do our little post for the potty.
For sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank
Have
you.
a,
Have a great day. Have a good evening.
Be in touch. You too.
Cheers. Bye bye.
au revoir.